understand the demand on ground, how this premiumization trend's going out, and what's the benefit of GST 2.0 as well. And we have a very special guest who's joining us today, Mr. Prasan Firodia, the Managing Director of Force Motors. Good to see you in, Mr. Firodia. It's been a while since we chatted. And we also have Hemal, Thakkar, the Senior Practice Leader and Director at CrisilIntelligence. Thanks a lot for joining in as well. Well, Mr. Firodia, coming to you first. You know, your numbers that you delivered in October month were very, very strong. Could you tell us as an industry what's driving this growth? And could we help this sort of a momentum to continue as well? How much of it do you attribute to GST 2.0, the pent-up demand?
So, good morning, Nigel. First of all, I would like to say that, for us as a company, the H1 has been phenomenal. It's been our best H1 so far historically. And, GST kicked in only about recently, let's say about 2 odd months ago. But even before that, we've been managing to, increase our numbers across our core segments. And, our core segments are predominantly shared mobility solutions. And within that segment, such as tourism, staff transportation, education, health, all these segments have been growing. With the GST, we always had a big anomaly in one of our, or in few of our product segments, between the 10 and the 13-seater vehicle category. Unfortunately, our vehicles were clubbed at almost 43% GST. That was a big impetus to growth, and because we had 28% GST and cess, and it just didn't make sense to have shared mobility solutions being pegged at that high level of a GST. Having rationalized that by the government, that's been a 25% reduction in some of our vehicle platforms, and that of course has helped us in growing numbers even further. So overall, definitely in certain segments for us, GST has been a huge benefit in terms of getting traction back on certain product platforms. And the numbers for the H1, have in totality grown as well.
Mr. Firodia, let's not just talk about H1 and the GST itself. It's a lot more recent phenomenon. But the underlying trend, and that's something that we're likely to discuss with Hemal as well, is the SUVization of the nation and the premiumization in mobility, personal mobility and shared mobility. I mean, the numbers that we have right now, SUVs, which accounted for what, about 28% of the overall vehicle market, are now 52% as of FY25. So just wanted to understand, how has your journey benefited the most from this, and what is it likely to be from here on as well? If you could give us some numbers, some market share, some more data.
So we are not a significant player when it comes to SUVs. Let me first clarify that. On the SUV segment, we have one product, which is the Gurkha, which is a hardcore off-roader vehicle. It has multiple variants. It has a civilian application. And now we have multiple variants on the Gurkha platform, which predominantly go to the defense services. So that's a growing segment. As a company, we are very focused on growing into the defense market. We just got an award from the defense forces for supply of about 3,000 odd vehicles as well. We are also continuing to supply to the armed forces our light strike vehicles as well. Now, in terms of premiumization, I think for us, the focus has been with our new grounds up complete new platform, which is the Urbania. This is a 9 to 17-seater grounds up complete new platform, which is significantly more premium. And the opportunity we have here as a company is to create this segment. And that for us is a very exciting and a very satisfying, opportunity as well. On this segment, this has now, taken into premium tourism. This is taken into premium staff transportation. And as India grows as an economy, as, people's expectations, aspirations are growing.
Okay.
Premiumization of transportation solutions is something which is becoming a necessary factor. And this, our Urbania has been doing extremely well.
Okay. All right. Just a quick word with regard to this Urbania itself. It's clearly capture the market, and you see a lot more, whether you look at UP or you look at even in Bombay. And I think GCC demand has been quite strong out there. If you could put a number to it, Urbania as a percentage of your mix, what is it at? Because earlier we were used to seeing from Force Motors mostly the Traveller, which was, ballpark 10 to 15 lakhs. And now you have the Urbania, which is 35 to 40 lakhs in that vicinity. So how much is it as a contribution of your sales mix as of now? And are you seeing incremental demand?
Correct. So we are basically now at a steady state production of about 600 odd vehicles. But the key element here is that we are creating this segment. And this segment is growing in India. We are creating this segment. We are evolving this segment. So I see this as a great opportunity, and I see this space growing as well. So there's definitely a lot of scope for improvement in the numbers within the domestic market, but also what is very satisfying for us on the Urbania platform is that we are able to now export this vehicle into multiple, international countries. For example, we are now selling the Urbania in all of GCC. We have started selling this vehicle in Latin America. So we see a lot of traction on this platform in the international markets, and the opportunity in terms of the total industry volume where we can play on the international market is substantial. So on the domestic side, clearly, this is a premium shared mobility solution, which is doing extremely well. It's a good product for us from a top line perspective, from a bottom line perspective. We are able to grow and create the segment for the domestic market and penetrate significantly into international markets as well.
We missed that number, sir. What is the run rate currently of the Urbania?
So we are at about 600 vehicles a month.
Okay.
This was just launched about 2 years ago. But I think the key factor here is to understand that this is a new segment being created.
Yeah.
There is no set PIV per se. We're just building onto this segment, and it's growing in a very satisfactory manner, both from a consumer point of view, from a fleet operator point of view, from a taxi operator point of view, and there's a lot of pull that's coming into this premium mobility solution.
Take that point. We'll get back to you. We also have Hemal Thakkar, who is the Senior Practice Leader and Director at CrisilIntelligence, joining in. Hemal, there are these underlying trends that we're talking about, and as Mr. Firodia has been talking about as well, while these trends continue, there are newer offshoots which are finding some traction as well. Case in point, premium shared mobility, the likes of Urbania, etc. How big do you think the total addressable market for something like this could be? And are there any other players here too?
So if you ask me, we've seen premium cab services also, kind of play some role, likes of chauffeur, etc., which have kind of cropped up in the last couple of years, which are offering premium cab aggregation services. Urbania is more focused on, tourism per se, if I have to say so. And something like chauffeur is more, within the city or intra-city, if I have to say so. So that is something which is shaping up, but this is a very, very niche portion of the overall market at this point of time. But I would completely agree to what Mr. Firodia also mentioned, that, this is a new segment which is getting created. So, over a period of time, we will see this, kind of picking up, because this is more of a lifestyle oriented service that, you are offering over the current mass market service that you have in the market today.
Okay. All right. Hi, Hemal. Good to see you in. What about demand trends? What is your observation? Was it a flash in the pan with regard to October? The kind of demand that you're seeing, or do you expect things to continue from here on? And also, if you could give us your sense with regard to this entire premiumization push that we have been seeing. How do you see the trends shape up from here on?
Sure. So, you are absolutely right in saying that if I look at the numbers, say 5-6 years ago in fiscal 19, the sub 4 meter category was almost 60% of overall sales, which today is at about 28%. And if you look at SUVs, including vans, was about 35%, which has doubled to 70%. So there is a clear trend that, kind of premiumization is happening at an overall passenger vehicle category level. Now, within this also, if you see, there are certain other trends on the powertrain side, where EVs are almost about 4.5% of overall sales. The average realizations are quite better than a normal ICE vehicle. And similarly, strong hybrids are about 2.5%, wherein again, the average realizations are better. So the premiumization story is definitely playing out. Now, your next question with respect to, how the overall scenario is shaping up, and, we've seen, a reasonable growth in October, which is to the extent of about 17%, in terms of offtake. And even in retails, we've seen a growth of about 11.5%. Now, if you look at the overall picture from April to October, we know that after the announcement by our Honorable Prime Minister on 15th August that GST is going to be cut, we had seen a sudden dip, in the overall sales. So if you look at the total picture till date, offtake has grown by about 3%, and, retails have grown by about 5%. Our expectation is that, in the second half, we may see a growth of about 6 to 7% in the overall offtake, thereby bringing the overall number for the industry to about 3 to 4% for the overall year.
All right. Hemal, thank you so much for joining in. Running out of time, but not out of questions. So perhaps we'll take this forward once again and, talk a little more about what the future looks like for both Force Motors as well as the industry on the whole. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Mr. Firodia, for joining in.
Well, and thanks a lot, Mr. Firodia, as well, for joining in. A rare voice that we're hearing after a while. We'll talk and catch up soon, and hopefully we get an understanding with regard to the ambulance segment as well as defense that you briefly spoke about. Thanks, Hemal, for joining in as well. Well, before